Okay, so now we're going to demonstrate your pre-driving checklist. So you got the keys in hand. You checked before you got in the car. Close the door smoothly. Keys in the ignition. Adjusting the seats. Checking your mirrors. Okay, nice job. All right, welcome to class, Jen. I need to see your permit. All right, thank you. All right, so you have the keys to the vehicle, correct? Excellent. So go ahead and do your quick check of the vehicle and make sure it's ready to operate. All right, so today we're going to be going over a few things. We're going to be taking a look at driving at night, passing, skid recovery, engine stalls, what to do in a variety of scenarios, and evaluating what to do with if your accelerator sticks, if brakes fail, if there's a tire blowout, and other roadway and driver problems, okay? So we're going to be simulating a lot of those things in this parking lot, as it's a safe place to do that rather than on the road. Okay, so for driving at night, what would you need to do to make sure that your vehicle's ready for safe navigation?
I need to clean the mirrors and the lights.
Okay.
So I'll do that now. Mirrors.
All right, nicely done. You also just want to make a visual check to make sure that your windows are relatively clean and unobstructed.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so for the second part of preparing to drive at night, you're going to check to verify that your lights work correctly. Okay. Now, how do you know that they're working?
I'm gonna go out and look. They're on.
Okay. What other lights might you need at night for driving?
My high beams.
Mm-hmm.
So that is. Yep, they're working. I have to go
Did you
them.
check your, yep, and turn signals?
And turn signals. Check the other side.
All right. Good job. Okay, so for driving at night, Jen, how would you use your high beams and low beams? And also, how would you use them to potentially communicate with others, either pedestrians or other motorists?
I'd have my low beams on if I were near other drivers. I would flash my high beams if I needed to communicate with another car or a pedestrian that I saw to get someone's attention. Give them a quick flash with the high beams.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to talk about passing. Up ahead, there are 2 bike helmets in the parking lot, signifying the length of a car in front of you. Okay, so why would you pass another vehicle? What are the risks versus the gains?
I would pass them if they are not maintaining a speed that is the same as the rest of the traffic, if it is a safe path of travel for me to be able to continue my momentum without putting myself in an unsafe situation, making sure that I have plenty of space to be able to move not only around them but back into them. I want to make sure that I'm aware of where I choose to pass them, that it is a part of the road that I can, that I'm not going to come into a turn or hill while I'm attempting to pass.
Okay, and how much space do you need to leave in between vehicles?
At least 3 seconds.
Okay, so how would you consider that in deciding whether or not to pass someone?
I want to make sure that I have at least 3 seconds, and then when I get back in, I want to make sure I can see their lights in my rear view before I pull back in. And as long as I can pass them, move back in, and still do that without having to drive super fast past them to do that, and just regular momentum, and not have anybody oncoming that would be unsafe.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead and demonstrate passing the simulated vehicle in front of us. Okay. What didn't you use in that process?
I forgot to use my turn signal.
Okay, so we're going to line up and try it again.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to try simulating this passing of another vehicle again. Okay. Last time you forgot to do what?
Do my turn signals.
Okay.
All right.
This isn't Massachusetts, so we're going to actually use turn signals. Okay. Okay. So you used your turn signal to go around the car.
And then
Did
I
you
forgot to do it coming back.
back into the lane, right?
You're gonna make me do this again.
I am going to make you do this again.
All right. In that case.
All right, safe 444, folks. You have to remember that both of us grew up in Massachusetts, so turn signals are
Optional.
optional. Okay. All right, good. All right, so for the next component, we're going to be talking about skid recovery. All right, so you are going to aim towards a target, okay, which is the light post straight ahead of us. As you drive towards that target, we're going to simulate a skid. I'm going to reach over and turn the wheel on you to simulate a skid. You're going to allow me to change the direction of the car by doing that, and then I want to see how you recover and get back on target safely. Okay?
Okay.
So we're going to do this nice and slow. We don't need to go very fast to do this, okay?
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready. All right, so you're driving along. All right. So you got back on target. Did you slam on the brakes?
No, I just let my foot off the gas so that it slowed and I wasn't giving it more momentum.
Right. So remember when we're talking about skidding or hydroplaning, your wheels have lost firm contact with the road temporarily. Slamming on the brakes would only do what in a skidding situation?
It would only make it worse.
Right. You would lose control of the vehicle more by sliding, because if your wheels don't have contact with the road in a skid, slamming on the brakes
Locks it up further.
is going to continue to make it skid worse.
Okay.
Especially if your vehicle doesn't have anti-lock brakes and the brakes would lock up. So you did a good job. You aimed towards your target area. You kept your eyes and head turned towards the area you wanted to go. When the skid started, you looked where you were headed to check to make sure the path of travel that you were heading in was okay, and got back on target. Nice job. Okay, so we're going to simulate a driving experience where your engine stalls. So your vehicle is currently on, and you're going to pretend that you're driving down the road. We're not really going to turn off the engine as you're driving. You're going to pretend that you're driving, and all of a sudden your engine quits. What is your process?
I'm gonna put it in neutral, and I'm going to continue to watch where I'm going and not panic. I'm gonna find a turn off the road safely so that I can get out of any oncoming traffic, and then I'm gonna try to restart my engine, put it back in drive, and see if I can recover and keep going.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what you would do in a situation where your accelerator was sticking. So we're going to have you drive forward, and as you do, we're going to simulate what you would need to do in the event that your accelerator was sticking. Okay, so tell me the steps that you took.
So I put it in neutral, and I was pumping on the brake, and I put on my blinker and was moving off the road into a safe space. Once I got safely off the road, I shut the car off.
Okay, so you said you were pumping on the brake, but you actually applied the brake smoothly and gently. So
I did.
you did the right thing, you said the wrong thing.
Okay.
You just described it correctly.
I just described it incorrectly.
Right.
All right.
So you did a good job. First thing you did was move the gear shift into neutral. So that way the engine revving didn't also contribute to your speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You immediately looked for a way to pull off the main road.
Mm-hmm.
You turned right smoothly. You used your brake gradually and gently. You turned off the roadway successfully, and then once you were off and in a safe place, you turned off the ignition.
Yes.
So, good job. Okay, so you're driving along,
Yep.
and your brakes fail. What are your steps?
My steps are I'm going to pump them gradually, trying to maintain my direction. If I need to, I will pull into a lower gear, and then I can apply my parking brake in order to have a controlled stop.
Okay, pretty good.
What did I forget?
One thing that you forgot was the first thing that you said you were going to do was to start pumping the brakes. What you want to do is to make sure that you're keeping your eyes on your target area. So where are you heading, right?
Yeah.
What do you need to take into account Do you need to change your path of travel? Do you need to look for a new target area? And make sure that you're controlling your steering. Okay, so let's just do that. Let's turn around and do that one more time.
Okay.
You did a lot of good things there. You just did a couple of things slightly out of order. All right.
I'm gonna go this way since we now have a pedestrian and a dog.
All right. Good job. Okay, so you're driving
So,
and your brakes fail. What do you do?
I'm gonna pump the brakes, and I'm going to keep an eye on my target area, but I think I'm going to find a different path to move off. Use my parking brake, go back to my lower gear, and then be able to stop
Okay.
in the safer spot.
Okay, so now we're simulating what happens when a tire blows out. What do you do?
Hold on to the steering wheel, make sure that you're not hitting the brake. I'm going to take myself off of the gas, and I'm going to pull off the road more quickly so that I have more control.
Okay. Why don't you use your brake in that situation?
Because it might lock things up and mess with the balance of the car while I'm trying to maintain control.
Okay. You need to remember that in that scenario on the road, you would need to make sure that your path of travel was clear to get off the road safely, and to make sure that you're checking for vehicles around you.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so now you're driving, and I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios. So locate and park near the light post to the left. All right, good job. All right, go ahead and turn around so you have some space to drive.
Waiting for the other car to go by. All right.
Good job paying attention to your surroundings. Okay, so now you're back driving around the road. Locate and park near the yellow sawhorse to the right. Good job. You picked up on the language there because it was locate and stop at rather than locate and park near. Good job. Okay. Turn back around and give yourself some room. Okay, so you're back on the road and you see and hear an emergency vehicle behind you. What do you do?
I put on my blinker and I pull over to the left, to the right, being careful to watch out for other drivers, and I wait until they pass, and then I can resume my line of travel.
Okay, good job. All right. You are driving and it begins to rain. What do you do?
I turn on my windshield wipers, and if it gets rainier, I turn them up. If it gets darker as it is raining, I need to turn on my lights. And if it becomes too much, I need to find a safe place to pull over until the rainstorm subsides a bit.
Okay. Would you need to do anything else in a situation where it began raining with regard to your travel speed?
Yes, I would probably need to slow down, as the rain would impact how well my tires were connecting with the road, and I
Okay.
wouldn't want to hydroplane.
And would you want to make any adjustments to your traveling distance with other cars?
I want to make sure I give myself more time to slow down and maybe increase from 3 seconds to 5 seconds at least. So there was enough space in between should I want to pass or should someone else attempt to pass me.
Right. So remember, 3 seconds is the minimum. 4 seconds is better. And if conditions warrant, more than 4 seconds.
Yep.
Good. Okay. Back on the road. Okay, you've just realized that you've missed your turn. What do you do?
I'm going to go forward until I find the next place that I might be able to turn and make an adjustment, whether it is stopping to see off the side of the road carefully to be able to see my GPS to see how to get back on that route, or whether it is a stop and then a turnaround depending on where I am and the road, to be able to see if I can go back and then catch the turn to my left.
So how might it be different if you missed a turn on an interstate highway versus missing a turn in a residential area?
On an interstate highway, I need to continue to go until I get to the next exit, when I could pull off, possibly reroute myself back onto the highway going in the opposite direction to pick up that exit, or again going to that next exit after the one I missed and finding a safe space to park and check my navigation to see where I can reroute myself to get back to where I was.
All right, good job.